If someone is looking to move, sometime say in the next few months, when should they start considering a mover? I have seen several buyers and several sellers over the last year that really kind of got stuck because they waited too late. So how far in advance should someone start their search for a mover?
Around this time of year, I would say at minimum about 4 weeks.
Okay.
And then in terms of just planning for the move, the best thing that I always tell people is, a couple months out from your move, start downsizing. I just moved personally, and we moved a whole bunch of stuff that we ended up taking to Goodwill and getting rid of.
Now, I would assume it's different spring and summer. How much time before it's time to move does somebody need as the market gets busier?
I would say peak market, especially the last 2 years, just like you guys saw, it was kind of an unprecedented market.
It was
2 months, 2 months probably.
Okay.
So we were peak COVID market. If somebody called a month out, there was a good chance we were booked up.
A person is buying a new home and moving. What are the biggest mistakes you see people make when it comes to preparing to move, when it comes to getting quotes to move? Like, what are the biggest, hey, if you had to give some advice to someone who needs to move soon, what would that advice be?
Well, right now, unfortunately, just during times of inflation, illegal movers are flourishing. And so there's all kinds of fly-by-night shops where, people just start a moving company and they're not paying taxes. They're not advertising. They're not doing anything like that. So they have cut rate prices. And the thing about those guys is, number one, they're not insured.
Yeah.
So that's something to be wary of. And then just in terms of legitimate movers, another thing that we're seeing right now is even some of our peers, that we would have considered to be very comparable a few months ago, we're seeing competitive quotes come up where we're, let's say, $1,500 for a move, and we say it's going to take, let's say, 8 hours, something like that. And then our competition has said it's going to be $500. And actually, what they're doing there is they're quoting you their minimum hours,
and then they're going to add to it. Wow. Okay. So let's give listeners something that they can take away. What would be your recommendations for how to determine a legitimate mover from an illegitimate mover? I mean, how would you do that? I wouldn't even know what to do.
Well, first off, all legitimate movers in the state of Georgia are going to have what's called a household goods number.
Okay.
And so our household goods number is 6144. So you can look that up on the Georgia Department of Public Safety's website.
Okay.
Under household goods. Another great way is just get 2 quotes, and then the third thing is, if like I said before, if it seems too good to be true, if you got one quote for $1,500 and another quote for $500, go ahead and get a third quote and see if that third quote is closer to that higher one. And odds are, the 2 people with the higher quote are probably going to be, being more straight up with you.